a backup singer in marriage. Amen? You got to understand that you and I have a role. And so, like the couple in Song of Solomon, your marriage is surrounded by backup singers. So I'd like to think of my friends and my brothers and sisters as the ones that are there rallying, in prayer. And we do that to you as well. I cannot talk to you about so many, countless number of times in which I have engaged in what I call either premarital counseling or crisis resolution and management in marriage. So many times. And you probably sit there and you remember times when I sat with you and talked to you about your marriage. But you see, it is a very delicate subject. And there are voices that you hear that's positive, but there's also a cacophony of messages, right? That's, well, how do you respond when you hear a bad singing? You've ever watched like American Idol or The Voice, and there's at least 3 judges that sit there, and sometimes they have like the buzzer, like, what does it mean? Stop. It's like, I can't stand it. But there are times when you see them, their jaw, drop. It's like, oh. Remember that? I remember the first, the one that became very famous. She's like an older lady that stood there, short, British, right? And when she sang, because she was underestimated by every one of them, what's his name? Simon Cowell. So when he got, so like, you don't look like a singer. See, sometimes you judge a person by how they look like. And then when she started singing, they're like, whoa. What's her name? I forgot. Susan Boyle. See, you guys know. And and you see how they look like, the judges look like, when they hear an off-key. When it's not being sang right. When it's out of tune. Like I said so many times before, if you think God has gifted you in singing and you have the heart to sing, you have the right heart to sing, join the choir, don't hesitate. Don't waste your talent. Don't waste your talent. You don't always have to think of, maybe she's going to ask me to sing solo. Then be honest and tell her, I can't sing solo, Melody. But you can be backup singers. You do the you do the backup singers. But I also told you that if you cannot sing, please don't join the choir. Please don't. You do her a favor if you don't join. Because if you cannot sing, then you cannot sing. If you can't handle a tune, that's fine. I have a friend who auditioned, and after he auditioned, the director said, you know what, honestly, I can't find the key of your voice in all the 8 Where is it? So he never auditioned after that. And that's a good friend of mine. I know also he cannot sing, but I think he was just joking with an audition, So you're surrounded. But there are bad backup singers. There are those that say, you never should have married. And I don't know what happened to you, Like, you're still with them? Like, like you should really think hard about this relationship. Those are the, like I said, cacophony or bad sounds, right? Or sound, they don't sound good. And when people say to you, like, she's never gonna change. She's always been like that, believe me. And I'm really surprised that you married her. So that's, but there are good backup singers. Those that tell you, wow, I can't imagine what it would be like when the two of you are together. It would be wonderful, it would be exciting. Those that encourage, and they say, if you go in Christ and they tell you, don't lose hope. Those that would remind you of your vow. I remember counseling a couple, like months after their wedding. This was in the Philippines, so don't try to speculate, oh, I know that. Don't do that, okay? This was months after their wedding. They asked me to come to their house. The husband already destroyed everything. The album, a lot of things broken in the house. Had seen 2 suitcases by the door. It's a mess. And I don't know where to start. But then I said, you know what, when you got married, I was there. I was a witness to it. And both of you made your vows. You made your vows. And some vows are traditional, you know, for better, for worse, richer, poorer, you know, death till death do us part, sickness and in health. So, you know, I know some of those vows they say for richer and for richer, but but that's not a good vow. So I said, you know, why don't we, because they recorded it. It's not videotape, but it's audio. Can we play that vow, please? Because I want to listen to it again. It's not a traditional vow. It's a vow that came out from their heart. It's not memorized. It's not a repeat after me vow. So we'll listen to it. She'll listen. He'll listen. Before they finish listening, they both cry. They decided to just stick together. Remember your vows. And if there's anyone who can talk to you about your marriage, always make sure that those are the good voices. Those are the ones that would encourage you. You know, those are the ones that would tell you, hey, you know, we've been friends for a while. Why don't the two of you come for dinner and let's talk about it? Because ours is not perfect either, but we can learn from one another. Let's try to save this marriage. Let's try to preserve this marriage. And if you find friends like that, I guarantee you, those are the ones that you should be hanging out with. Stop hanging out with people who will tell you that, oh, there's no more hope for that. I mean, you just go to the court and file divorce. Go ahead, do it first. Don't let her do it first. People will say that to you, and people would be biased in their counsel. You know, so it's time to turn down or mute the backup singers who are, what does it say there? Taking your duet off key. And turn up the volume on those who know how to honor and bless your marriage. What does it say in Proverbs 27 in verse number 12? The Bible tells us iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another. So if you have some experiences that you can share, if you're skilled and trained in counseling, then do it, you know. You don't have to be a professional counselor to sharpen the marriage of other couples that are that are around you. Now you're a backup singer. It doesn't matter, singles, spouses, parents, even if you're a teenager, we're all backup singers here today. Amen? So I trust that you're understanding what I'm saying here. No matter what season of life you find yourself, whether you're young or old, you know, you have a responsibility to raise your voice and sing it loud and sing it the right way. I mean, you know, very positive music. Because there are so many messages out there. You can listen to so many of them, offer a Dr. Phil or whoever, and they don't always tell you the right advice. I guarantee you that. Because a lot of the advice that you get from people who don't know the Bible actually contradict the principle of marriage. That's all laid out in the Bible. So how do we, you know, let's look at 5 practical ways to honor and to be a backup singer for the marriages around you. Number 1, honor your child's marriage by picturing, envisioning, imagining a special future for your daughter and for your son. Parents, we are raising future spouses. Do you see it that way? Now, I do understand if you look at your daughter and you don't want her to grow fast. And I do understand when, you know, you become too emotional about the thought that one day she's going to get married, one day she's going to leave your home. Or your son will one day grow up, become a mature person and find a partner in life, and then now, you know, now you have an empty nest. I've had that, right? My son, my daughter, they're so attached to me. Both of them are so attached to me. So that for me, it's hard to imagine as they grow up that one day they will have their own families and it's just going to be me and my wife again. Even when they left for college, both at the same time, they went to Pensacola and Florida. So it's just me and my wife staring at each other, right? We enjoyed our time. I'm not saying that, you know, she's boring and I'm boring for her, but we enjoyed our time. But there's nothing better. There's nothing better than you have your own full family. And how many of you shared the same thought? That you cannot imagine, oh no, my daughter getting married and she'll be, you know, like moving out of the home. Oh, I can't imagine that. But how do you prepare your daughter for that? Now listen, and I want you to listen to this and let this stick to you, right? That it's going to be selfish on your part not to accept the fact that that's God's design for every individual. It'll be selfish. Remember how your parents gave blessings to you and they let you. They released you. They prepared you for that day and then they released you. It is when they said, we do. Who gives this woman to be married to this man? We do. It's not easy. I've done so many weddings. I'm going to do more this year. And I probably did your wedding. And I don't know how many times I've seen the parents cry in the ceremony. They cry. It's not easy to let go. But before you go to that part that you let go, release, work out on how you must prepare your son or your daughter for that day. So that you're not raising an irresponsible spouse, an inconsiderate spouse, right? Because if you're too attached, and you're too, or you overprotect your children, you don't want them to do anything, what kind of individuals are you raising in the home? You don't let them wash dishes. Don't do the laundry, I can do that. But she's already 18 years old. And if you do everything for your son and for your daughter, what are you doing, really? Are you doing them a favor?
No.
So what are you raising?